5, we will start the meeting, sir. 5 minutes, we'll wait for the participants. Six o'clock correct start பண்ணிட்டீங்களா? ஓகே. ரெக்கார்டிங் மட்டும் சார் வரட்டும், மோகன் சார் வரட்டும். ஓகேவா? ஓகே. Yeah, coming. Okay. Yeah. Yes, Divya. You were able to see the screen, correct? Okay. Godfrey, unna vandinga? Godfrey, sir? Okay, look at me.
Yes, madam, just a minute, just a minute.
Mohan sir has come. Good evening, sir.
Good evening, good evening.
Very good
evening, sir.
Sir, speaker also has joined. Vijay sir also joined.
Okay. YouTube streaming started, right?
Yeah, started, sir.
Just a few minutes. Wait for another few minutes and then it is. I think the display is not okay, no? Or I think it is not on presentation mode. Edit mode.
Got it, sir?
No, our display is not on presentation
Yes,
mode.
sir. Yes, sir. We know that, sir. You know, அது வந்ததுன்னா Divya is not able to go into the live streaming எல்லாம். அது கொஞ்சம் இது இருக்கு. So, Godfrey is starting now. Godfrey, sir, are you there? Godfrey, sir.
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, now I have done.
ரெண்டு இது இருக்கு. ஒன்னு மியூட் பண்ணுங்க. எக்கோ கேக்குது. திவ்யாவை ஸ்டாப் பண்ண சொல்லட்டுமா?
But is it in presented mode now?
இல்ல இவங்க திவ்யா இன்னும் இருக்காங்கன்னு நினைக்கிறேன்.
No, sir.
இல்ல நான் தான் பண்ணிருக்கேன்.
ஓகே ஓகே. இல்ல பிரசன்டேஷன்ல வரல.
வரலையா?
Divya, you just stop sharing. Yeah. Okay. Now, yeah. Godfrey sir, நீங்க பண்ணுங்க. Presentationல வரல அது actually. Screen தெரியுது but presentation.
No, ma'am.
Yeah, good.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Sir, shall we start, sir? Recording, Divya, will you please start the recording, sir?
Ma'am, shall I start the recording, ma'am?
இருங்க sir ட்டு கேட்கலாம். Sir, Mohan sir?
Yeah, okay.
Okay. Godfrey sir, start recording.
Start recording, ma'am. Start
okay.
recording.
Okay, thank you. Good evening.
Recording started, ma'am.
Yeah, great. Greetings and good evening all. On behalf of Organizing Unit CSI Chennai Chapter, IEEE CS Madras and ACM Chennai, myself, Dr. Gomati, Vice Chair, CSI Chennai Chapter, takes this opportunity to welcome you all for today's webinar on use cases in AI, integrated AR VR. Now I request Mr. Vijay Chordia, President, Hindustan Chamber of Commerce, to present the welcome address. Sir. Please, sir.
Yeah. Good evening, everyone. Very warm welcome to all of you to this exciting meeting on use cases in artificial intelligence, integrated augmented reality, and virtual reality. It's a pleasure to have such a distinguished gathering of professionals and experts in the field. I am delighted to welcome our distinguished speaker, Mr. S.K. Prahalad, founder and CEO of ZyenaLABS, operating from India and Finland. With his extensive background in technology and innovation, Mr. Prahalad brings a wealth of knowledge and experience to today's discussion on the integration of artificial intelligence with augmented reality and virtual reality. In today's rapidly evolving technological landscape, AI, AR, and VR are revolutionizing industries across the board, from healthcare and education to manufacturing and entertainment. These cutting-edge technologies hold immense potential to transform the way we work, learn, and interact with the world around us. Mr. Prahalad's presentation promises to showcase some of the most compelling use cases of artificial intelligence integrated augmented reality and virtual reality, offering us a glimpse into the practical applications and real-world benefits of these innovative technologies. From enhancing employee training and productivity to revolutionizing customer experiences and marketing strategies, the possibilities are truly limitless. I encourage each and every one of you to actively engage with Mr. Prahalad's presentation, ask questions, and share your insights and experiences. By fostering open dialogue and collaboration, we can collectively explore the transformative power of AI integrated AR and VR and unlock new opportunities for growth and innovation. I look forward to an enlightening and productive discussion ahead. This event has been organized by Mr. H.R. Mohan, Chairman, Information Technology Committee of Hindustan Chamber of Commerce, in association with IEEE Computer Society Madras, ACM Chennai, chaired by Dr. P. Sakthivel, and CSI Chennai, chaired by Mrs. Mythili Prakash. I once again extend my warmest welcome to Mr. Prahalad and to all the participants. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Vijay Chordia. It's a very enlightening welcome address to know about the prelude of AR, VR applicable to industries. Thank you so much. Now I invite HR Mohan, sir, Chair Events, IEEE CS Madras, to introduce the chief guest. Please, sir.
Good evening to one and all. Again, on behalf of the organizing units, IEEE CS, ACM, CSI, and Hindustan Chamber, let me once again welcome the speaker and as well as all the participants. So AR, VR once considered to be more influential in the entertainment industry, of late has put its impact in various industries, and particularly healthcare, education, training, and some of the areas where productive enhancements are very much in the required. So this AR, VR techniques with the infusion of artificial intelligence having a much more impact in the current days, particularly in the areas of retail and healthcare and so on. Of course, Mr. Vijay had briefed about all these things. And Mr. Prahalad's company the ZyenaLABS, which had started few years back, has become one of the dominant startup and most sought after company in the area of developing systems for training as well as in the development of systems for critical management of certain industries like aviation and automobile. So it is really heartening to see the company started by Mr. Prahalad is really flourishing, and now they have been spreading their operations globally. And before starting this company, Mr. Prahalad had executed projects worth several millions. To be precise, he has indicated the figure of 700 million. So it's a sizable amount for a company of this startup nature in various government entities and Fortune 500 companies like NVIDIA and Activision, which has been taken over by Microsoft. This recently is one of the largest takeover in the tech industry, and another company called Aegis. So this Prahalad, with his vast experience extending more than 15 years, he has been very much in the areas of game design, software development, and project management. And along with engaging in the development of AR/VR products, he has been very much involved in public speaking and mentoring, demonstrating their profound interest in space exploration, which is another sunrise industry, the application of virtual reality in education and enhancing industrial safety. He holds a US patent titled Systems, Method, and Computer Program product for optimizing a three-dimensional texture workflow. With this brief introduction, let me welcome once again Mr. Prahalad and request him to enlighten our participants on the applications of AR/VR along with the infusion of AI in various industries. Over to Mr. Prahalad, please.
So thank you very much for the dynamic introduction by Mr. Vijay and Mr. Mohan. And once again, it's my great pleasure being here, sharing my experience on VR and AI. And yeah, very good evening to all. So let's begin the presentation. I'm going to share my screen.
Godfrey, sir, you can stop presenting. Yeah, thank you.
Yes, ma'am, done.
Thank you.
Hope the screen is visible now.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Okay, so great. Okay, so once again, very good evening to all. So today's topic is on the AI integrated virtual reality and AR use cases. So most of the presentation would be through my own experiences as a company and as my past experience. So that would be, would be very much aligning with the industry where it started and where we are now, and very much the cases would be aligning with the use cases would be aligning with the current industry standards. Okay, so what is AR and VR? So AR is more of an virtual information overlaying on the physical real world. So basically, I would like to share a video here. So more than the explanation, I would like to begin with a video. So just a brief about this video. Okay, so AR is something very much not a very much a matured technology so far. It's still evolving and still getting matured across various industries. So one of the very prominent industries are the automobile industry. So this project is actually being developed by BMW to enable AR as an heads-up display for the driver. So as you see, you would be seeing the navigation, the speedometer, some of the road safety signs as well. So this is still currently under development, not actually being released to the consumer yet. So BMW had their own proprietary AR glasses, but later on they had to scrap that and they have to move on to the very generic, the market standards as well. But they were developing this application, not the hardware side, but they're developing this application for the drivers, to enable with the heads-up display information of all the whatever you see on the digital the driver dashboard, that would be enabling on the AR itself. So that is one of the very prominent use case which is still happening around the industry. But I don't know how many of you have experienced AR at your home itself. So if you type Google animals in your smartphone, you would be directing to some of the AR experiences as well. So maybe after the the presentation, you can experience at your home itself. So if you like to experience a tiger in middle of your living hall, you can experience that. If you want to experience a deadly snake on your bed, you can experience it as well. So there are some AR experiences which is available, but not at a very mature state for the enterprises. So most of the industries from last 5-6 years, they have been experimenting with adopting to the maintenance some of the information like you saw in the video, like heads-up display for the automobile industry and all. So still very much in the development. So I would keep AR as for this today's presentation very much limited to this what you saw in the video, but we'll talk more on the VR. So VR is more of an actual immersive experience for any user. So imagine that you want to experience an Amazon forest. Imagine that you want to experience your, presence on a surface of a moon or a surface of a Mars, or let's imagine there is a huge natural disaster. How do you, and tackle that? How do you tackle that? And how do you, be aware of the situation? So there are a lot many use cases. Of course, we'll go through the slides down the presentation. So again, let's go through one more video experience. So these are all more meant to be seen than explained. So that's why I would like to share the video very first. Okay, so let's go back to the presentation. So before we go into the current industry, the standards, how the use cases are being adopted, and what are the challenges that they are facing, what are the benefits they are having with VR and everything. So let's start from the very beginning of the evolution of virtual reality. So the evolution of virtual reality very much started back in 1960s itself. VR is not a new term or industry, but very much it has been there from last 50, 60 decades actually. 50, 60 years. So the very first, the VR, the machine you will be seeing on the image, it's called Sensorama. So it's the very first, multi-sensory, machine for visual, auditory, and other experiences as well. So this is very much the very first, just to experience some of the movies in 3D surround and put yourself into an immersive world and everything. But yeah, not a very, very much like the current industry what we have. But yeah, so to begin with, it's a very great start for the industry back in 1960s itself. So after that, a professor called Ivan ZyenaLABS and his student Bob Sproul, both from the University of Utah, they in around 1968 or 1970, I think. So they created the very first VR headset. Something like you saw you're seeing in the picture. So this is the very first, the very beginning of, the modern VR, we could say. Because the very first one, what you saw is more of a setup, a machine where you have to put yourself inside that to experience. But this is something that the headset revolution started from here. This is the groundwork for the modern VR, we can say. So post this, fast forward to 1990. So space has been the, not only with VR, the forefront of many such innovations, in today's modern technology. Space organizations like, NASA, the European Space Agency. So they have been, the forefront of, introducing some of the technologies which we saw it as a sci-fi back in some years ago. But now it's a very much a reality and a very much a daily use case at many of the industries, of course, in consumer side as well. So one such, again, innovation is again NASA. So NASA and VR is the very first, the modern collaboration of using it for a actual training and skills enhancement and emergency training, scientific research, engineering. So back in 1990, so this was one of the very first VR to be introduced for the astronauts for, spacewalk, especially spacewalks are, tend to be very, 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 critical. And it has to be trained in such an environment to understand its, the safety instructions, what all the causes that, they have to be aware of it, what are the procedures that they need to follow. So using VR was the very, the best bet they had, because the astronaut is inside the virtual environment and they would be conducting all the instructions, the procedures, what they need to do at the spacewalk. So this is the very first, the actual use case which was introduced back in 1990 itself. So what you saw from all here is that it's a very, would call it a rudimentary or, very much kind of a Stone Age kind of, foundation of a VR. But how the devices do look today. Now, the one you are seeing right now is the Apple Vision Pro, which was released last month. And Pico is one of the enterprise grade virtual reality. And of course, Facebook owned Metaverse 3 as well, and there is HTC Vive. So there are so many devices in the market. Of course, you would get it anywhere from as low as 1,000 rupees to all the way to 3 lakhs, 4 lakhs, or even 5 lakhs. Okay, but every VR device is not the same VR device of what you would be seeing actually, because some of the VR devices are very much used for the consumer, experience and entertainment. Like Samsung has some range of VR devices, even Lenovo has, and some of the unknown brands which is already available in the market, just as low as like 1,000 rupees to 2,000 rupees. Okay, so there is always a misconception of VR. Like all the devices are same. No, so it's not the same. Okay, there are enterprise grade virtual reality headsets, and there are like consumer grade virtual reality headsets. So consumer grade virtual reality headsets are more, towards the entertainment and some gaming and some to experience of, some small applications as well. But enterprise grade VR is the dominant industry, and that is where actual use cases, the actual advantage of a VR as is being used. So some of the devices, what you saw is more of an enterprise as well as consumer, but yeah, more towards the enterprise as well. Nowadays, you get anywhere a good VR headset, anywhere from 50,000 to, as high as 3 lakhs, 4 lakhs. But yeah, a good 50,000, 60,000 VR headset is very much good enough to experience, some of the, things beyond our imagination. So like Metaverse comes with around 50,000, 60,000 rupees, which is a very good bet. And of course, Pico and Apple Vision Pro is quite an expensive one, not at the, very much required with the current industry standard, because it costs more than 3 lakhs or 3.5 lakhs, I think. That is the seeing right now. So what are the AI-driven VR application aerospace? So I'll keep the AI at the very last of the discussion after the actual use cases which is being used in the industry. So I'll talk about AI at the very last. So the very coming to the enterprise side, the most of the applications like VR is being used on the aerospace side. So what is that they are using for? So pilot training enhancement and emergency scenario preparation. So there are, of course, a lot of other use cases being used in the aerospace industry, but let's talk about one of the most prominent and generic ones, which is being used in the aerospace industry. So one is the pilot training enhancements. So talking about from our own experience as a company and as the industry, insights. So when we started working with an organization called European Aviation Safety Agency, which is very much equivalent to DGCA in India, a regulatory board for aviation actually in the European side. So one of the staggering thing that we understood as a company is that more than half of the the aviation accidents are due to pilot error. More than half of that. Okay, so it's not related to weather conditions or not related to engine malfunction or any technical error. Nothing like that. More than half is purely due to pilot error, and followed by air traffic controller as well, because air traffic controller is responsible for managing all the inbound and outbound flights, the landing, takeoff, the taxiing and everything. So everything revolves around a human-centered centric decision making skill here. So any small error is tend to cause a huge accident, causing lives, injuries, and economic loss as well for the company and the governments as well. So that's why they are putting in place a lot of very serious, very realistic simulations for the pilot training enhancements. As a company, we developed a application called aeronautical decision making for the European the Aviation Space Agency, where the objective of the application was to enhance the the pilot decision making skills. So for example, there is an emergency on board, or a passenger is sick and not well, so how do you take a decision? And there is an emergency of weather condition, there is an emergency of engine malfunction, so how do you take the right decision to avoid any serious consequences? So that is what we developed, a kind of a series of emergency use cases for the pilot to what is that the pilot would choose in case of XYZ scenario. And choosing nothing also is a decision by the pilot. The pilot has its own flexibility. VR is used for them in case of in any ad hoc situation. How can they be very much prepared? So that also includes emergency scenario preparation as well. Okay. So what is the role of AI here? So very much with the current industry standards, it's very much designed in a way where what all the situations are there and what all the ad hoc situations can occur for a pilot to deal with. Now, these are all very much predefined, so once they understand the training, the next time, they don't need to again go back and, do the same procedure. So they get used to the situation. So implementing artificial intelligence here will enable to generate random scenarios. So every time the pilot goes through a training, they get to see something new and something new to learn, and also increases their awareness, cognitive thinking as well. So that would be the role of AI in general for most of the industries. But coming to aerospace, yeah, this is something that we are experimenting with it. What is the best scenario that what are the random scenarios that AI can generate for the pilot to very much be prepared. So that is something new with the aerospace. In 2 months, I think they have to go inside the tank, which is big as 50 feet, with wide of more than it's like 200 or sorry, yeah, 600 square feet. Actually, it's such a huge tank. So they have to enter the dark tank inside with a headlight, and they have to go inside and see what kind of maintenance they have to do on once in a month or twice in 2 months or something like that. So this training, right, they cannot put a real person every time into a situation like that to get them trained. It's something not advisable. It's not very logical also. So how do they can be prepared, very much prepared with these kind of procedures they have to do? So the answer is obviously virtual reality. So in VR they get to experience the same replica of whatever is available in their plant, but virtually they enter, they understand the procedures, they understand the safety precautionary, and they learn the procedure very much safe in a safe environment. So that is one of the very best use case for the mining industry as well. But recently we all we saw in the news, I think the last year, somewhere around December or something, that 40 people in Uttarakhand or Himachal, I think, they got trapped for almost 3 weeks or 2 weeks, I think. Now, this is a lapse of safety, accident. They went down, drilling down the tunnel for more than 1 kilometer actually working there in Germany, we actually got an worry about how to train their emergency responders to the maximum level actually. So one of the project that we did work, unfortunately we couldn't work for that, but yeah, citing example is that they wanted to train them on ad hoc scenarios. So basically fire responders or maybe other emergency responders or the first aid medical. So all this team together, comes to an emergency responders as well. So how do they train them beyond what will happen? There are some regular protocols which they need to follow, but what is that, something happens to this level of, damages, which is very much unforeseen. Even in Chennai, we recently saw in December that's huge rains in parts of Tamil Nadu as well. Nobody is prepared. Even today, nobody is prepared. So these kind of things, very much unexplained. Either in developing nations or developed nations, nobody's prepared. And in terms of talking about pandemic as well. Excuse me. So nobody was prepared to deal these kind of consequences. So that is where we are is again into, coming into play here to train them to almost what all the best case scenarios they can cover and also more effectively and in a ad hoc situation as well. Along with this, we also worked during the pandemic. We got to work with the Ministry of Health, Italian Health Ministry actually, to train the first aid, the forefront workers on the COVID hygiene levels and how much they can be prepared on these kind of situations. So obviously we cannot put all these front end workers into a situation like that, right? So we developed a series of scenarios. How do they tackle an emergency situation of getting in contact with a COVID patient, if they contract the disease, how it is that they have to do to keep them safe and some people around them as well, what all the protocols they need to follow. So all this very much as the beginning of pandemic got the situation got worse, so we started working on this with along with the Italian Health Ministry to build this on a VR application, and we deployed it. So talking about a lot of these situations, not only to do with natural disasters, but in general with all the industries as well. The accident can happen from anywhere, irrespective of how much, we are aware, how much aware we are safe, things like fire. So fire is a very, very good example. Over the years, we would have seen in our news channels, there have been fires at homes, residences, factories. I think even 3 months ago, there was a fire in Delhi or Mumbai, I think, in a building. So fire is the most common, accident happening across the globe. It's not only with, developing nations or something. It's happening very much everywhere. This is something that they are really addressing it with the help of virtual reality. So again, citing an example, one of our very first experience of working on the fire is with Murugappa Group in India. So we really learned a lot. We never knew that there is such a serious incident is there, situation is there with related to fire. So most of the employees, they were actually getting bored to go through, PowerPoint presentation, videos, and of course, time to time there are mock-up drills. So mock-up drills are something that, you cannot, replicate a, much worse disaster situation. So mock-up drills are very much limited to certain extent. You can get trained on, let's say 2 or 3 scenarios. So, but not beyond to that extent. So we deployed a kind of a gamification. Actually, it's not a VR, but more of a game-based learning on the fire accidents for the Murugappa group, and it was a very much very good success for the organization as well. The employee will go through the factory, and the employee will see there are like 4 or 5 different fires happening in the factory setup, and what is the right kind of fire extinguisher they need to use within. There's a time limit actually. Every fire extinguisher is not the same, and it cannot be used for all kinds of fire. So these are some of the details that we never understood. So working through these projects and with industries like this, we learned a lot. To understand, okay, it's not only about fire extinguisher, to have a fire extinguisher at home, but to how do you respond, in how much time you will respond to that situation. Okay, so there are like seconds to minutes. Within that, if you don't respond, the whole place gets to burn down actually. So these are some of the very these kind of details is very much required, not only for emergency responders, but even at schools, they should get trained on these things, daily life skills and everything. So this is something that I very much argue with of people that, this is something that it should be part of a curriculum to understand all these things. This can happen at any time. It can happen around their surrounding, around their neighborhood, anywhere. So if somebody is very much trained on these things, there is a huge, benefit of saving people, public property, loss of public property, the economics, economic losses as well. So instead of losing the millions of dollars of worth of property, you spend a little bit of time and few $1,000s in training a right person to equip all these situations as well. So the next thing is that maritime shipping industry. So in the Middle East and also in some of the geographics, as well as we had our own experience with shipping industries. So most common thing was to train them on the bridge operation. So this is something that very much very common use case for the VR. Because as a shipping industry, some of the ships are like so huge, the cargo ships, the cruise ships and all. So it's at a staggering size of, 10 stories to 15 stories of size. And so that is like something that we can't even imagine maneuvering a ship like that. So bridge operations is something that it's a most common use case, followed by engine room operations. So again, if you have entered a ship engine room, it's again something to do very much like a mining industry story. It is very, very, I wouldn't say it's a compact or something, but too many, equipments are always in your pathway. It's like cluttered. I would say the right word would be the cluttered thing. Yeah, too many things around you. If you look around your right, there are machines. If you on the left, it's machines. Down, up, anywhere it's machines. So you need to walk very much carefully inside the that pathway. So because if you tend to injure yourself on your head, on your hand, or something, so this is something very much in confined space management training that a lot of people get trained on the VR as well. Along with what all the technical things they need to do in case of a repair and maintenance. So this is very much common with the aerospace sector as well. So because these are the things that on day-to-day they use, because either it's a shipping a ship engine or either to do with a aviation aircraft engine. There are like millions of parts, there are like millions of parts inside each engine, and maintaining this is such a huge, paramount task that for any engineer to understand where to get started, what should they do, and how to, find an inventory for this, how do they report this to their senior, everything. So right from even a small screw to one of the big parts inside the engine. So these things they get trained thoroughly because they're all very much prone to, again, the safety side as well. So someone misses out to fix a screw inside an aircraft engine, or let's say even the ship engine. Somewhere, at least for the ship, it's fine because it's on the ground, it's on the water. But for an aviation, for an aircraft, on the mid of air, if something goes wrong, there is no, kind of thing, a stopover, they can stop and fix it, right? They have to land, obviously. So these are some of the, very serious kind of training that is being implemented into the VR as well. Again, the role of AI here. Now, like I said, generating random scenarios is one thing, and enhancing the training, the user experience is second thing. And apart from this, these two, the role of AI is used to, give the user with some of the challenges that, with a timeline. So basically, let's say in 2 minutes, you need to fix a certain, engine, or let's say you have to respond to a situation, everything. So instead of a predefined timeline, if it's 2 minutes, every time in 2 minutes, you will get trained, So that is not the objective of the training. So sometimes your attention is required in less than 2 minutes. So let's say in less than 20 seconds also. So how do you get trained in time constrained situations? So this is something very much we are also working around. I think this is one of the very best implementation that would be we are looking forward to, at your ease, at your comfort, at your flexibility. If you are getting trained, then doesn't make any sense. So let's say that's not the real situation, right? There is a fire at a building or at an office place or something. You don't have 20-30 minutes to go around happily, pick the fire extinguisher and try it out. It doesn't work, so let's go back and pick another fire extinguisher and do it. No, it's not the same thing, right? So this all happens within seconds. So how do you respond to these kind of situations in time constraint and a time limited training scenario? So this is something that we are also experimenting with it with all the industries as well. So these are three things of AI integration into VR. So yeah, the manufacturing side as well. So one of them, again, at a mass adoption level of VR training, either to do with skill training, either to do with safety training, manufacturing, it could be, to do with healthcare, it could be to do with transportation sector, to do with aviation. Okay, a lot of things comes inside manufacturing, but in general, in manufacturing, where do they use this? For employee training and safety enhancement. Again, a lot of machineries are included in day-to-day activities like heavy engineering, how to operate a crane, how to operate a forklift inside a warehouse. So these are very much a common day-to-day activities the employer has to go through. So these are some of the trainings which is being adopted at mass adoption is happening actually as we speak across many industries, and this actually propelled the VR adoption, actually accelerated after the pandemic. Very much before the pandemic, if you don't speak about VR, people used to think it is as a sci-fi thing. Either they don't understand, either they will not have budget, and the third thing is that they won't be interested with VR and all now. So it's still, as the industry is getting matured, every year now, most of the industries are coming with, this is something that they really need to, get implemented at their training level to train their employees in all the other activities as well. So there's something happening on the manufacturing. So what are the, the development, the career and roles? So let's talk more about this. So what are the, softwares being used in VR development? So one of the most common, most widely used are these two applications. One is the Unreal Engine and Unity 3D. So for the students, if some of you students are watching this presentation, I would say that please download this if you're interested in learning not only VR, but of course, in general, any digital, content creation to do with interactive, immersive, and everything. This is the two, applications that you need to be well versed. If you are a student, you can use your, university ID to get a free edition. Of course, Unreal Engine is a free edition, and Unity 3D is something that you have to do licensing. But if you are a student, you can get it for free. So these are the two main platforms, used in developing these kind of applications. So it has, unlimited set of tools to explore. But you have very good tutorials for the beginners to understand, video tutorials to understand where you have to get started and what is the, set of things you need to do. And of course, you need to be good in programming, like, C#. So that is a C++ and C#. I think that's the main thing that you have to be well versed for these two engines. And the other set of applications on the artistic side are 3D applications. One is, Blender, which is open source. Again, it's very much free to download. All you need for all the above applications is a very good, a PC, desktop, a powerful one. Not a regular laptop or a regular desktop. You cannot use that. You need to be very much highly configured. And of course, Maya you can use for 3D applications, and C++ programming. And once you create an kind of an object, let's say you created a building, you created a character, you created some of the machinery. So how do you color that? So the coloring in industry term is called texturing. Okay, so texturing, how do you use texturing? So there is a software called Substance Designer, Substance Painter for, to create custom textures, custom materials. You want to look your machinery like a, rusted iron, a rusted steel or something. So you can create those kind of materials, custom textures as well. So these are some of the, most widely used in the industry. There is no, too many applications, but these are the most commonly used applications in the industry. But of course, talking about gaming industry and all, they have their own proprietary, applications which is not available for the public. Yeah, but of course, these are some of the things that we also as a company we use. So, what are the career opportunities and roles? So the most common thing is gaming. As we all know, we all get associated with gaming very much easily. Like mentioned in the very beginning, VR is not only to do with gaming and entertainment industry, but of course it is something more beyond. Like we went through all the industries where it is being used and getting benefited in training and safety training as well. And apart from gaming, IT industry. So companies like us, that's where you find opportunities to develop these kind of applications. So not only, companies like us, but, the majority companies, most well-known companies like, let's say, Infosys or Cognizant or Accenture. So these companies actually have a separate division for, VR development, AR development as well. They are very much active in developing these kind of applications within their own ecosystem, or let's say for their own set of clients. So these are some of the biggest companies in the world, and they have endless opportunities for these kind of applications, because most of the applications are moving to the digital platform. Most of the applications today is becoming more consumer friendly. So digital content creation in general is falling, under category of, entertainment, enterprise applications, so a lot of things. So if you know the above application, the previous slide, what I, showcase, you can get employed in gaming industry, in IT industry, and of course, again, it depends very much on your passion, level of passion, where you want to focus. So other industries apart from the above two is that automotive industry. So companies like Mercedes-Benz, BMW or Audi. So these are some of the companies, they have put such enormous, budgets to develop some of the, very custom applications, passenger experience, driver experience, co-passenger experience. So they are also very much, very much active in hiring. And the government organizations in Europe, US, and Middle East. So this again based on our own experiences. In some of the governments in the Europe, right? They have their own team for VR developers. This basically to a small team for their own experiences, research and study, and also some of their training materials are being transferred to the digital platform as well. So basically, these are some of the organizations like space industry, European Space Agency for the matter of fact, and the Ministry of Transport in some of the European countries. In the Middle East also, they're very much active in developing, adopting VR applications as well. So on the government side also, it's very much happening. In Indian side, we had an experience with DRDO. So DRDO has actually been, they're experimenting on VR applications for their, army training and as well. So oil and gas industry, one more, very significant industry, very much active, in VR adoption and training as well, because oil and gas industry, as we all know, is very much, risk-prone industry with a lot of accidents and everything. So that's also being used. Transportation industry, aerospace and defense, very much active, with a lot of applications being developed for maintenance, crew training, pilot training as well. Yeah. So what are the roles that you can join in would be we are software developer engineer, we are product manager, we are research and development. Of course, it's not limited to what you are seeing on the slide. Yeah, of course, there are like very custom, fancy roles. It's there from depending on company to company and industry to industry. So these are very common things that I'm showcasing here, but the opportunities out there are very much bigger than what you're seeing right now. It is because at least from last 1.5 years or 2 years, just after the pandemic and everything, industries are very much moving on to the digital content side. So digital content is something to do with mainly, developing some good applications on VR platform, of course, on the desktop platform as well. So this is something that very much, happening as we speak. So yeah, I'm open to have questions.
Yeah. Thank you, Mr. Prahalad. It's a very, very, very wonderful section. Now I call upon yes, sir. I call upon Dr. Godfrey, MC member, CSA Chennai Chapter 2, to moderate the question and answer session. Please, Dr. Godfrey.
Yes, ma'am.
Are you there? Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Good evening, all. Thanks, sir. It's a wonderful.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Now we have a few questions.
Most of the questions are already answered. Just mention and they can skip.
Okay.
Sure.
Most of the questions which they asked is already answered by you in the presentation. So one question from Ramya Segar, it's a US designer. Thinking about education sector, how do you think the accessibility for students from all backgrounds be increased with the advent of AI in the already lower accessible extended reality sector? So
Okay, so if I understand, thinking about education, how do you think the accessibility for students from all the backgrounds be increased with the advent of AI in already lower accessible extended reality sector? Okay, so I'm not able to get a proper framing of the question, but I'll try to answer this. So in general, I understand that how do you increase the accessibility of AI for all the students, if I'm right. So in education sector, of course, implementation of AI is very much, it will be a very big advantage. But of course, every technology comes with, a responsibility, it's not that it has to be misused or used for some other, other useless benefits, but of course could be used to well adapt with current educational, if you are an engineer, what is that, you can use it for a best of your program and course and everything. So how do you infuse this into the education sector? Now this all comes with a regulatory framework. AI is something that on personal level it's very good to have. But having this on the education sector, or in fact for other enterprises as well, it comes under a certain regulatory framework where they need to align and adopt to use of certain extent with the right way. So in educational sector, with the age group of maybe more than 6th standard or beyond that, they can use this for for science experiments, or for mathematical calculations as well. Now it all depends upon like how they want to implement in a right way. So I'm not sure if I've answered that question, but yeah, feel free to emphasize on the question if I'm not clear.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Another one question is there. That is asked by 2-3 students. That is Fardeen is a student and Sandhya is another student. Their common question: what are the job opportunities and what courses should I learn? And what are the basic skills required? I think the question is already answered by you. Anyway, if you want to add any points to the question, you can.
Yeah, sure. So, see, an industry like this is, you should see it in a very passionate way. Okay, all it starts with your interest and passion. Because why I'm saying is that I've seen a lot of students, and even when we go for some recruiting some of the interns as well from major colleges, they all study for the sake of studying. Okay, something that they are hyped about it, or something that they think, whole day I can play games in a company. So they all have some wrong perception about the industry. Okay, so this should come right from your heart, that what is that you want to do, what is that you want to add value to the industry like this. Okay, so there are, of course, like I showed in the slide, there are very good opportunities across many industries, but purely it depends upon what is your interest. Okay, either you want to go inside the gaming to create some value add, or you want to go into an IT industry like companies like us, where you can bring in a lot of value add for the enterprises as well. Now the second thing is that don't ever study for the sake of studying at all. Okay, this will not get you anywhere at all. This will take it as a very good advice from me, because from my experience, please do your homework very much, where you want to be, what is that you are interested in these kind of technologies, and where you want to apply that, and where you can make a difference. Okay, so this is something that you do your own research, and align with the softwares like what I showed you. Please very much understand the foundations of these applications. These are not very simple applications where you just type in, it comes out, and you create some programming, suddenly it comes out. No, this is very much a manual and a very much passionate work. If you want to create an environment with weather conditions, you need to understand the science beyond weather conditions, how the rain system is formed, everything. So you'd be an expert of many industries when you start working in this kind of industries.
Okay, another one more question. It's a Damodaran, it's an engineer. He has asked how the cost-effective VR can be developed for the industry.
Okay, so this question is pretty, relevant in many industries. I would say, through our journey from 2016 to till now, okay, the cost effectiveness has very much changed. Okay, very much initially it was like pretty expensive. Nobody would be able to afford except for a few companies. But today, speaking about these kind of technologies implementation in the industry is very much cost effective, because now the biggest challenge we had was not only we, when you say we as a company and we as an enterprise or whatever it is, the cost of VR used to be like more than 1 lakh, 2 lakhs and all at the very beginning. Now it has all come to 50,000 rupees, 40,000 rupees, where you get a very good headset to implement for training purposes. So the whole development process, to implement a training anyway starts from, as low as 5 lakhs to, or it can go up to 50 lakhs, 70 lakhs, even 1 CR as well. But depending on the requirements and the complexity of the requirements. So anyways, from 5 lakhs also you can implement if you want, but it can go up to anywhere from these ranges as well. Yeah.
Any other questions from the participants? If the participants have any questions, you can unmute yourself and ask. Okay. Any questions? Okay, sir. Final question, sir.
Yeah.
Is there any threat or any what are the drawbacks of AI to the human, or the threats of AI to the human?
Okay. So this is a widely debated question, okay, on the AI. I don't know how many of you seen a movie called I, Robot back in, it was released in 2004, 20 years exactly. Yeah. So if you've seen that movie, at the time when I was watching, it was looking very much a science fiction for me. Now today it's very much reality. Now, what are the drawbacks? Like I said, every technology has its own advantages and disadvantages. Okay. So if you use it for a right purpose, it can give you a lot of benefits. Of course, AI is now coming with a lot of privacy concerns, security threats, and a lot of people are misusing it for many other purposes as well. And even today, I think in 1 week ago, there was a news about text to video. Okay. So it was showcased in a news channel. Like if you type a text about, let's say, I have to, a person walking in Amazon jungle or person walking on a middle of a New York street with weather condition of rain. So immediately it generated a video. Actually, if you have shot a video, exactly that level of realistic visual quality was there in that video. Now imagine this released to a public, how much of misuses it can happen. People can, impersonate anyone, and they can cheat about many other things showcasing in the video where it is not actually real, So these are some of the biggest threats is always there. Irrespective of any technology, of course, there are a lot of big threats out there. But yeah, AI is something that is a very serious thing, unless and until it comes under a strict regulatory thing. Like I said, even in education sector and whatever it is, it would be really, really a big threat. But of course, if you are using it for a good cause, a betterment of, saving lives, saving economies, improvising, enhancing skill sets of people. So this would be, very much a big game changer. But of course, it entirely, many things are out of our control in today's world. No matter you have law, enforcements, regulatory stuff and everything, things tend to happen, go wrong anywhere. So that was a good example of that movie. That's why I cited that example. But yeah, so we don't know what is the the roadmap ahead, because a lot of European countries are working on the AI implementation regulations as well, to be used even at workplaces, industries, at all. But it's still a long bet, and so in the next 5 years. Hopefully it is good. It has opened up for better, but or else I don't know. There are like cyber wars today, and so there are like a lot of the things that are happening. I can't answer these things, but I see it from many different angles. But yeah, it's all about everyone. People like us today. We are we have to take responsibility in taking this awareness and implementing these things in a right way, in a responsible way. That's what I see.
Thanks, sir. Now it's over to Dr. Gopadi ma'am.
Yeah, thank you very much, Mr. Prahalad, for giving a detailed points to those questioners. Very much I
Thank you.
appreciate you. Yeah, I'll just go upon to vote of thanks. On behalf of the organizing units, I'm happy to propose the vote of thanks. At the outset, I thank the chapters jointly organizing the webinar on use cases in AI integrated AR and VR. The webinar has focused on how AR and VR are involved, creating transformative experiences across various sectors, from education, shopping to healthcare and entertainment, making the process more efficient, interactive, and user-friendly. We thank our guest speaker, Mr. S.K. Prahalad, founder and CEO of ZyenaLABS, for enlightening and sharing his knowledge and experience with the live applications. He highlighted the use cases which were aligned on the real-time applications from various domains, very specific to training in emergency situations to avoid the losses of human lives and economy. Some of the AI-driven VR applications mentioned here are highlighted by him are land, air, and sea transportation and manufacturing industries for training the employees, operators, and users on safety terms. AI helps here to enhance the training in ad hoc situations, especially with time constraints. So also, he specified about the training the emergency responders under natural disaster situations such as fire, flood, etc. VR also had a major role in training the frontline health workers under pandemic situation. He also touched upon the career opportunities in VR for the students' sake. So I thank you so much, sir, for bringing out a vast use cases of AI integrated in VR. I also thank the office bearers of the organizing units who supported this webinar. Our special thanks goes to Mr. Vijay Chordia, President, HCC, Hindustan Chamber of Commerce. Our heartfelt thanks goes to Mr. H.R. Mohan, Chair Events, IEEE CS Madras, who determinedly worked towards the progress of the chapters by introducing such expertise here for the benefit of the members. Our round of applause goes to today's webinar participants who joined us in live Google Meet and YouTube live streaming, and special mention to those who actively participated in the QA session. I hope the session would encourage many of the participants to explore further on the use cases and scenarios discussed here. With these warm words, we move to the end of today's event. Thank you all and good night.
Thank you. Thank you all for having me today. And yeah, thank you all. I hope it was enlightening and educational today. Thank you.
Yeah, very, very happy, sir. For your presentation is excellent. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
It's an eye-opener.
Thank you, Mr.
Really, it's an
Prahalad.
eye-opener. Yeah.
Thank you, Vijay sir. Thank you all. It's happy to share all the experiences. Yeah.
Yes. Thank you.
So
we will
thank you for
definitely
including it.
go for a Prahalad. We will definitely work in future for a workshop for our
Sure.
Yeah. Okay,
Yeah.
members.
Please.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I would be very
Yeah.
much happy to. Thank you.
Yeah, sir. Mohan, sir. Sir, muted. You are muted.
No, possibly, we would like to visit your development center. If it is-
That's also good.
Yeah, sure. Very much. We are based out of Bangalore. Some of the
okay.
work is being, but we can have a session workshop or something where we'll bring in the equipments and everything to have an experience and
But
everything.
you have an office at Perumdi, right?
Yeah, some sort
We
of
have an office.
hands-on will- some sort
Yeah,
of
we moved to
hands-on
Bangalore.
will definitely interest the students and other participants, basically, because some of the equipments are so expensive, they will not able to have access. So
Yes.
that is-
Yeah, sure. We have the equipments to have experience. Yeah, Dr. Gomez actually. Yeah, we moved to Bangalore actually because a lot of
Okay.
people are
So
from
you don't have it, right? No.
Yeah, here we don't have the office
Okay.
right now. So we moved to the Bangalore. The entire development center moved to the Bangalore side actually.
Okay.
So yeah, when you say Chennai, people are like a little bit. A lot of people are coming from Pune and other parts of thing. They all very much like a city as a Bangalore, not Chennai for some reason. Yeah.
Now IT has moved from Chennai to Bangalore, right?
Yeah, very much. So they all
Equally, people are also moving from Bangalore to Chennai, because of the congestion and other problems. So
always there is something, but like people
Especially
still
transportation
prefer.
congestions.
Yeah.
Transportation. So,
Yeah.
And there is one global organization, ARBR Society, which is being, in fact, they were also wanting to start a chapter in Chennai.
oh,
They have been in touch with us. So maybe, we'd like to see how best we can work out, So they already have the first chapter was inaugurated in Bombay, then subsequently one in Pune. So they are looking for city like Chennai and of course Bangalore they are yet to start. So
Okay.
maybe basically it is in Asia Pacific based organization.
Right.
The person is operates from Sydney. So this.
Okay.
So he has been in touch with us. So we'd like to see how to take it up further.
Sure.
good news, sir.
Let me know.
That's a
I'll
good
be
news.
happy to. Yeah. So please let me know. Feel free to anytime reach out to me if anything is required. I would be very much glad to be part of it. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Prahalad. Yes.
Good night.
Have a nice day.
You can. Yeah. Good evening. Thank you. Yeah.
Anything else?
Sir? Yes, nothing, sir. Because Mythili has not joined.
Yeah.
PV sir is there, so he tries to.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
எஸ் சார் இதரும் கோயம்புத்தூர்ல இருந்து 2-3 பேர் வந்திருந்தாங்க. இவர் சரவணகுமார் சிஇடி ஸ்டூடெண்ட் இந்த இதெல்லாம் அவங்க அனுப்புறேன் அப்படின்னு அவரும் அங்கேயும் ஷேர் பண்ணாங்க. இவங்க இந்த ரீஜன் 7லயும் கொஞ்சம் ஷேர் பண்ணா நல்லா இருக்கும். அண்ட் இவங்க நம்ம நடராஜன் கிட்ட சொன்ன நம்ம அந்த குரூப்லயும் போட்டு விட்டுருவாங்க. எல்லாரும் வரவங்க இருக்கட்டும், ஒரு 5 பேர் வந்தா கூட இட் இஸ் யூஸ்ஃபுல். இந்த மாதிரி டாபிக் பி வெரி யூஸ்ஃபுல் ஃபார் ஸ்டூடெண்ட்ஸ். எக்ஸலண்ட் டாபிக் சார். தேங்க்ஸ் சார். சூப்பர் ஸ்பீக்கர் பிடிக்கிறீங்க சார் நீங்க ஒவ்வொரு தடவை. லேட்டஸ்ட் என்னன்னா என்ன வேணும்னா
ஸ்பீக்கர் இஸ் த்ரூ டாக்டர் குமதி.
அப்படியா? எனிவே குட்.
Thank you.
பட் நார்மலி எங்களுடைய என்சைக்ளோபீடியா இவர் தான் HR மோகன். லேட்டஸ்ட்
ஆமா, அது